two changes to his side as Fernandes comes in at right back for Vidma, and Kobel, the goalkeeper, makes way. We'll leave that one there as the game is underway in the Lusail Stadium, just north of Doha, the last of the round of 16 ties. Portugal against Switzerland is our focus this evening as the two sides get us underway, and it's a quick switch from Portugal from right to left, who are without Cristiano Ronaldo in their opening starting lineup tonight. It's myself, Matt Guy, and Simon Barlow alongside me to see who will face Morocco in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's really opened up, hasn't it, for both these teams. They'll see Morocco as a winnable quarter-final, but one of them's going to go out tonight. One of them will have that opportunity, and one of them will not. And I think, it could lead to a bit of fear in the early stages, but these two sides have got goals in them, and I fully expect us to see a really entertaining game by the end of things. Yeah,
absolutely. Still inside the first minute of the game as Portugal go long up to Gonçalo Ramos up top, the Benfica 21-year-old. Starting up top for Portugal tonight. It's his first start for the national team. He has 3 appearances. We see Gianni Infantino.
Obligatory. It's usually inside the first 5 minutes of the game they have to show him for some reason.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? You often see famous people, ex-players, ex-pros, that sort of thing, but every single game he seems to be there. Yeah. Gets that free ticket, of course, as the head of FIFA.
So he's got the same Adidas trainers on as well.
As Portugal, quick start down the left-hand side. Here's Bernardo Silva. He's just fronted up there by Edmilson Fernandes. Back with Guerreiro, quick round the corner into Fernandes. Quickly fronted up by 2 Swiss players in a full white strip tonight. Portugal in their traditional colours of that burgundy red with dark green, almost a sash across the shorts and the lower parts of the shirt as Pepe looks to switch the play. The Portugal skipper tonight plays it out to Guerreiro on the left. Good touch inside to Felix. Looking bright here, the Portuguese. Touch from Fernandes is poor. And in the end, Switzerland are able to clear out from the back. But Portugal have started on that front foot.
Yeah, Fernandes over on the right-hand side of that front three. Gets it in the box. Like you say, his touch wasn't great. Rodriguez just sort of got his body in the way, and there was another defender there to clear. But it's starting on the front foot, and it's positive from Portugal.
Absolutely. Pepe once again going over the top, controlled down there by Ramos. In the end, the flag comes up for offside. He apologises to his skipper tonight, but what a cracking touch it was. If he was able to keep that in play, I tell you what, it's not too far, is it, from being onside either. The defender stepped up, he dropped in behind, but in the end the flag did go up, and it's certainly a route already that they'll look to try and exploit.
There is some space in behind that Swiss back four, isn't there? I think Jan Sommer's going to have to sweep up quite close behind that defence if they're going to play with a high line like they are doing now.
Absolutely. Portugal then with Costa between the sticks, a back four of Dalot, Pepe, Diaz and Guerreiro, the more like it back four. There's a change, of course, from that back four against South Korea, in which 3 of the 4 were changed. There's just going down here is Braylen Bolo, just holding the side of his head. He thinks that Ruben Diaz has just caught him here. Just see a replay from the reverse angle. He certainly put an arm across to block the big man off, hasn't he? And he has caught him with a stray arm.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that. The second replay looked like it was quite, I don't know, sort of, a purposeful elbow. Embolo, I think he's within his rights to go down in that situation, and it was obviously a physical challenge that was going to occur there, and Ruben Diaz has just sort of braced himself for it, but he's done it with his elbow out, and you've seen him given as potential red cards, those.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit naughty there from the Manchester City centre half, of course, facing off tonight against his teammate Manuel Akanji in the back line for Switzerland this evening. Carvalho, Silva, Otavio and Fernandes make up that Portugal midfield, by the way, with Ramos and Felix up top, as Switzerland's head coach, of course, Murat Yakin, just cheering his side on. They bring Jan Sommer back into the starting lineup. He was ill for that final group game, as was Elvedi, but he's not made it back to the starting lineup. So they have Fernandes in at right back today, with Akanji, Sher and Rodriguez making up the back four.
Don't really think Elvedi is a big loss, to be honest. I saw him in the first 3 group games, or sorry, the first 2 group games before he got ill. And he was struggling a bit, to be honest, but Jan Sommer is a massive return. He's got hundreds of caps, I think, for Switzerland, whereas the other 3 goalkeepers they brought to Qatar, I think the most that any of them had was about 5 or 6 caps.
Yeah, absolutely. He plays for Mönchengladbach at the minute, Jan Sommer, but he's been one of those goalkeepers that's been touted for a number of years. I did see a report earlier this week that he is out of contract in the summer, and perhaps Manchester United were looking to exploit that. Here comes Embolo, driving into the Portugal box, takes a couple of touches onto his left foot, strikes at goal, blocked away by Pepe.
He looks a handful, doesn't he? I think we saw from the fact that Ruben Dias wanted to take him out with the first duel he had. He's worried about Embolo, his power, his pace, and he looks bang up for this. Runs across the box, fires in a shot off the legs of Pepe, and he wins Switzerland's first corner. Absolutely.
Diaz fighting fire with fire, perhaps, with that physicality earlier on, as Switzerland with a corner kick from the far side of the field. Granit Xhaka on the edge of the 6-yard box, not mentioned him so far. Of course, the skipper of this Swiss side, and so important to them in the middle of the park. Dropped off short, though, is that corner into Xherdan Shaqiri, their record appearance maker in World Cups, as the ball comes into the box to the front post. It's headed away by Portugal, picked up in the middle of the park, though, by Switzerland, and the foul goes against them. It's Jibril Sow straight onto that one, catching Otavio, the Porto man, off guard, but he just caught him and took him down well enough for a free kick.
Yeah, referee's going to be under a lot of pressure tonight. We've already seen a couple of decisions that he's had to make in this game, and of course we know both these teams will be trying to accentuate any contact to gain any advantage they can. On that occasion, I think it was a slightly off-time challenge, and it was a foul.
Yeah, Cesar Ramos is our referee this evening. His final game of the group stages was Belgium against Morocco, and of course Morocco winning that one by 2-0. And then earlier today, of course, if you did miss it, went through on penalties against Spain. A horrible penalty shootout once again for Spain. They've lost 4 of their 5 in World Cups. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how some teams just have got the knack and some teams haven't. Portugal actually have got the knack. They've won 3 of their 4 penalty shootouts in major tournaments. And Cristiano Ronaldo has scored all the penalties he's ever taken. But I think by not playing him today, and most probably he'll be coming on as a substitute, kind of guaranteeing that he's going to be on the pitch if it goes to penalties. It's a 120 minutes game potentially here today, and I don't think Ronaldo would have had 120 minutes in his legs, to be honest.
No, absolutely. It could well go down to penalties. It could be the 3rd round of 16 game in a row to do so, as Vargas down the left-hand side, driving into the Portugal half. Across comes Carvalho. He just drops it back for the moment into his supporting man in Xhaka down that left-hand side. Shaqiri then tried to flick the ball on, and in the end it goes out for a throw-in on the far side. Just returning to Ronaldo, of course, on the bench tonight. A lot of talk pre-tournament here. Messi had not scored knockout goals in World Cup. Messi did it, of course, in the previous game of this round. Ronaldo on the bench, as you say, could be a huge impact player tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think coach Fernando Santos has assessed his options, and he's probably picked a team that he thinks is going to win the game, no doubt about it. You know, Ronaldo might not be in his initial 11, but have a role off the bench, and also he's managing his resources for later rounds as well. There's no point going through here if Ronaldo's going to be absolutely no use in the next round. Yeah,
a lot of talk pre-kickoff that it was because of his reaction to going off against South Korea, but I think it's a mixture, maybe a little bit of that. I don't think too much. I think they've dealt with the off-the-field issues now, Portugal. There's also the managing minutes, but then there's also that his performances perhaps from the start have not been bang up to scratch, and therefore why not try a youngster for at least an hour of this game and then bring Ronaldo on if you need him.
Yeah, it's strong management, I think, from Fernando Santos, because whatever reasons you've got and however you try to communicate them to Ronaldo, he's not going to accept it. He will be absolutely gutted that he's not starting today and that the manager didn't think he could play the full 120 minutes and contribute and play the next 90 minutes if needed as well.
Absolutely, as Akanji just takes a chance out from the back, driving past João Felix, but in the end he's able to get past him. But his pass is poor. It won't be picked up by a Swiss white shirt in the middle of the park, and in the end it comes back for the goalkeeper in Diogo Costa. As he plays a dodgy looking ball out to the left-hand side. A poor piece of control there by Fernandes, and tell you what, that was a chance. If he'd controlled that one down, they were driving at the defence.
Yeah, there was, I mean, teams that play out from the back do take risks, and with the right triggers, with the right pressing triggers, you can cause even the best defenders and the most sort of comfortable, passing teams problems. I think they did that there. Diogo Costa's a little bit sort of played a bit short by the back pass, and he has to really hurry in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Diogo Costa has been spoken about in terms of playing out for the back already this tournament. That crazy game, that 3-2 win against Ghana earlier on. Had a chance last minute of the game, didn't they, to put the ball in the back of the net, but for Williams, who slipped. So keep an eye on that one as the game goes on. We're inside the 10th minute of the game, by the way. Independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary of this final round of 16 tie in this year's World Cup. Portugal 0, Switzerland 0 as we stand. No real effective efforts at goal. Just one left-footed strike from Brelin Bolo for Switzerland, which was blocked away by Portugal's skipper in Pepe. Here is Vargas down the left-hand side for the Swiss, just drops it back into the ever-experienced Ricardo Rodriguez. Back to Vargas once again. He drives down the line up against William Carvalho, drops it inside, and the Augsburg man will look to receive it back now from Xherdan Shaqiri. Does so on the touchline, just drops it back again to Rodriguez, and the Swiss for the first time really in the game just establishing themselves on the ball. Switch of play by Newcastle's Fabian Schär. Great ball out to the right for Fernandes. He's got a man just inside him, cuts inside in his left boot, looks to cross towards the far post, reaching for that one. There in the end is Nottingham Forest's Remo Freuler. He's never going to get that. It's a great opportunity for Switzerland, but Fernandes' cross goes over the top.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ball, was it? I mean, he's pushed up high on the right-hand side. You think he's going to be favouring his right foot, but he actually, through choice, comes in on his left there to try and get a cross in. I'm not sure he'll be doing that the second time around because it was poor delivery.
Yeah, I don't mind the confidence from him to at least try it. He might as well try it earlier on in the game, but yeah, the accuracy left a lot to be desired. Here's Ruben Diaz playing out for the back for Portugal. In he goes to Otavio. Poor control though from Diaz once again, and they just about get away with that one. Just as Diogo Dalot comes across and the Manchester United man smashes it away left-footed. But they're living on a fine line here, Portugal, when playing out from the back, as the Swiss have won it back and regain possession between their defenders. But boy, oh boy, Portugal, they just seem to be causing their own downfall almost at times.
Yeah, they're. I think they used to be impressed like this. This is something they've perhaps not experienced too much of in the tournament. They were not led to believe that Switzerland would do this. They obviously played them twice recently.
Yep.
You know, both times in the space of a week in the summer. I don't know how either of those games went in terms of whether they were pressed or not, but I know Portugal probably got the better of the results. 4-0 winners in Lisbon and then 1-0 in Switzerland on the return game. But yeah, it's perhaps a tactic they weren't expecting.
Absolutely, as Sommer plays one out from the back, that looks shaky as well for the Swiss man. Portugal picking up the ball in midfield, though not able to drive forward on the back of it. Here's Bernardo Silva in a deep position. First time we've really seen the Manchester City man on the ball. Here he drives forward down the right, lays it off for a moment into the feet of Dalot. Back it comes into midfield, flick forward towards Ramos, cleared away by Rodriguez, won by Silva again, but Akanji is able to take that one down from the skies. There's Sau up to Embolo, leans on Diaz, flicks it off, goes for the return ball. There's Fernandes, the fullback for Switzerland, just tripping for a moment and not able to return that ball, but Embolo just flicks the ball off and sprints down the line. He has got some pace and power.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously tried to load this right-hand side, I think, haven't they, with pace and power, thinking that might be a weakness for Portugal, you know, just pure strength. But you know, Bernardo Silva, I think he's only small, but I think he'll be all right. And you know, Guerrero's not the quickest for a fullback. He's very attack-minded, but yeah, it's clearly a tactic, I think, for Switzerland to try and get down this right-hand side in the early stages.
Absolutely. Bernardo Silva, now the man on the ball, drops it into the feet of William Carvalho, who, as so often does, drops between the two centre halves. Here's Diaz, left-hand side to Fernandes, looking inside to Felix. He's pressed by Xhaka, so whips it out to the right-hand side for Pepe. Pepe now into the feet of Otavio. This very, very fluid midfield three in and around William Carvalho, shifting their positions once again. Here's Felix, left-hand side. Guerrero's down the line, just goes inside to Fernandes. Quick 1-2. Now into Bernardo Silva, as there was a ball on there for Guerrero, but he opted not to play it for the moment. Passing work from Portugal, very mobile around the middle of the park, the Portuguese, but not yet able to break the defensive line of Switzerland. Rodriguez is asking a lot of Vargas there to drop back almost in a left wing back position at times. It is almost in that way as Shaqiri is left up top with Embolo. Here's Pepe though, driving down the right hand side for Portugal, looks for an early cross into Ramos, tries to control it, mistouches it, and here comes Switzerland on the break. 14 minutes gone in this game. Fernandes down the right hand side into the feet of Embolo, turns on halfway, driving past Otavio, shrugs him off the ball. Sorry, Guerrero there, as Sau picks it up in the middle, out to the left hand side now for Vargas, as they look to drive down that left flank. Across comes the defending man in Diogo Dalot, and a smart tackle from him puts it out of play.
Yeah, he's having a good season, isn't he, Diogo Dalot? And although he wasn't initially a starter in this team, he really did impress. Got an assist in the game they lost against South Korea, and I can see why they picked him today, because he does offer a lot going forward, but he's also really improved his defensive game as well, and that'll be an interesting matchup throughout the game there with Shaqiri on that side.
Absolutely, he and Guerrero keeping João Cancelo out of the side, of course. Cancelo maybe not had his finest season in a Manchester City shirt, but is such a fine player, so you've got to be doing well to keep him out. And Diogo Dalot is certainly doing that. Vargas calling for a throw-in on the far side, over on the far side, but to judge to have come off him last and out for a Portugal throw, it will be. Still 15 minutes into this game, yet to see a real effort on the goalkeepers. Neither Diogo Costa nor Jan Sommer has had a save to make as yet, as Portugal out from the back once again. Here's Dalot, just Cruyff turns to stop the pressing there from Xherdan Shaqiri, who voices his encouragement to his team. Shaqiri level Swiss World Cup top scorer Josef Hugi tonight, should he score. His record 12th World Cup appearance as well tonight, and is continuing his fine form. Got that goal, of course, against Serbia, an assist against Cameroon, now playing for Chicago Fire after his spell, of course, at Liverpool.
Mexican wave going around the ground now, Matt. I mean, I don't think it's been that boring, but you know, there hasn't been, like you say, there hasn't been any opportunities for either team to really get a serious shot away. Just that Embolo effort that was blocked by Pepe. Portugal haven't created anything. No,
I think, as you said earlier on, perhaps a little bit tentative in the earlier stages, but both teams are solid, that's for sure. They're very well drilled as Felix takes the ball down out of the sky, just lays it off now to Guerrero, fed into the middle of the park. Here's Bernardo Silva driving into the box on the left-hand side, looks to cross to the far post. There's Rodriguez with a last-minute challenge. Great challenge as well to turn that away from what would be a certain goal.
Yeah, great endeavour there from Bernardo, taking it on. It was a nice little move. Ball was laid off to him. He was on the burst into the penalty area, cut it back left-footed, but just too many Swiss bodies there in the end.
He's almost deceptively quick, isn't he, Bernardo Silva, as they break into the box once again. Ramos strikes towards goal with his first appearance for Portugal, first starting appearance, should I say. Left boot, roof of the net.
Yeah, great goal from Gonzalo Ramos. He's been doing this for Benfica all season, and you can see why Fernando Santos has dropped Cristiano Ronaldo now. You know, for all Ronaldo's struggles, perhaps he's seen that Gonzalo Ramos is just on fire in training, because he's absolutely smashed this one on the turn into the postage stamp. Nothing Jan Sommer could do about it, and Portugal have the lead. What a strike it is from the Benfica man, 21 years of age, first Portugal start, first World Cup start, and a left boot rocket has hit the roof of the net. It's just flicked through from João Felix, isn't it, in between the defenders. The man comes across in Fabian Schär. I think he thinks, I'm just going to leave the rest of the goal and expect my goalkeeper to mark the front post. But such is the finish, there was no stopping it. Yeah, I mean, you could pick holes in the goalkeeper, leaving a gap maybe at the top of his near post. You can pick holes in Schär for not closing it down fully, but he's taking away there from a spectacular goal that is going to grace any World Cup. That is absolutely top draw, and you know, the defenders will be disappointed in their own ways, but it's just got to go, wow, what a goal. Yeah, top draw, top corner, rifled past Jan Sommer before he could even react, and just as our director turns these cameras towards Cristiano Ronaldo on the sidelines, what a finish from the youngster Gonzalo Ramos, and Portugal are 1-up in this game inside 17 minutes. A game that didn't have a shot on target has finally seen the first one thrash through the back of the net, and it's all eyes now on Switzerland. What can they do in this game? And they instantly put the ball out of play down this near side. No panic needed though from Switzerland, just stay solid and you're in this game. And they're a team that have a never say die attitude, I think, Switzerland. We saw it in the Serbia game, you know, they were 2-1 down there, came back to win 3-2. We've seen Portugal as well, sometimes they can get a little bit, not cocky's the wrong word, just maybe a little bit overconfident when they're ahead in games. Ghana gave them that scare, as you mentioned, where they almost got a late equaliser in the game. So, you know, this is definitely not over us. Switzerland, they were probably expected to be behind at some stage, because that's just the nature of this Swiss side. They dig in, they roll their sleeves up, and they'll keep fighting. Absolutely, and on the right-hand side now is Fernandes with a throw-in, goes over the top of Embolo. Diaz just heads it into the skies. A battle there from Freuler, who supports Embolo up there as it's played back off to him by the striker, who can't quite find him. Tackle comes in early from the back from Schär, and a quick turn then from Freuler. Bounces the way of Sau, and the foul goes the way of Portugal, and Pepe is rolling around on the ground holding
his left ankle there. The Mexican referee, Cesar Ramos, coming straight over to calm everybody down. I think Freuler is the man in question. Just see another replay. Just stands on the top of the foot. We've seen a lot of that this tournament, haven't we? See another replay of that goal. He's well onside. He's just backing into the defender, isn't he? No question of that. It was never really a goal that was in question whatsoever, but just an unbelievable finish. And the fans almost slow to react to it because the ball was so fast into the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of goal that Cristiano Ronaldo has scored many of down the years, you know, just too quick on the turn, too accurate with a shot. But he hasn't scored many of them this season. And I think we're seeing here a guy who's, you know, obviously a hot hand with the form he's got at Benfica, who are running away with the Portuguese Championship and qualifying, you know, over the head of Juventus and PSG in the Champions League. And you know, he's just absolutely vindicated his manager's selection with that one moment.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 goals in 11 appearances in the league this season for Benfica, and with his first start today for Portugal, he's continued that form. Here's João Felix just jinking and driving on halfway, lays the ball off to William Carvalho, chip down the left hand side. Here's Guerreiro, he's away here, he's got a man in the box in Goncalo Ramos, looks to whip it towards the edge as there's the header from Granit Xhaka, now screaming at his teammates to hold their positions as Otavio finds the man on the far side in Dalot, driving up against the defender, just drops it back to Fernandes, looking perhaps to the edge of the box, instead opts to switch it out to the left for Guerreiro. Bernardo Silva's down the line, he now receives it, looks to play it back, great run off Fernandes, ball back inside, Ramos lays it off to the edge of the box, there's Otavio with the strike, just bounces into the hands of Jan Sommer.
It's just mesmeric football out from Portugal. Akanji gets dragged all the way out to the left-hand side of Portugal, the ball gets played into the middle, or a bit short-handed there. Well, midfielders are trying to cover there. Granit Xhaka is trying to block, but the effort from Otavio in the end into the ground, comfortable save for Jan Sommer. Yeah,
great first touch passing, wasn't it, from Portugal, but it was too easy for them. There were too many gaps in that back line for Switzerland, as once again Embolo talking to the linesman on the near side, saying he's put another arm across me there as Ruben Diaz. He's holding his chin once again. He has won a throw in, and they will take it quickly. Switzerland now with Fernandes down the right, looking for Embolo, doesn't find him. It's a poor ball in truth as Otavio turns it back around the corner. Felix drops the shoulder, drives into the middle of the park, laid back off to him from Bernardo Silva, looks to go back over the top, not in the eye line of Fernandes, but it's into the eye line of Ramos, who shoots once again, and this time down the middle of the goal.
Game's just, you know, you can't say you're out of it, can you? Great skill in the middle of the park there from Portugal. Granit Xhaka got left, you know, looking like a bit of a wally, to be honest, and the move continues. Ball up towards the striker in form. Cher makes a mess of it. He's not cleared the ball cleanly, and it falls straight back to him. He hits it along the ground, but I think we're seeing that Switzerland are starting to panic a little bit now. You know, a couple of even the most experienced players like Cher and Xhaka are having a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, absolutely. Frantic defending, you could say. Ramos is all over them, but for now, it's Freuler down the left-hand side, and with Switzerland just over halfway, a good chance to pass over to Simon Barlow for the rest of the half.
Yeah, it's Vargas on the left-hand side. Low cross is blocked at source, comes back to Carvalho, and he tries to thread it up towards his striker Ramos, but that one's lost, and Switzerland win it back in midfield. Ramos, though, is on hand, although there was an earlier foul by Pepe, who'd come a long way out of his defensive station there, and the free kick goes Switzerland's way.
Yeah, he indeed nicks the ball on Granit Xhaka in the middle as well. He's always a presence, isn't he, Pepe, in a game, whether it's up top, whether it's at the back. Just 39 years young, of course, leading this defensive lineup. I mean, you've got to think this is his last World Cup campaign, shall we say, and he's going to fight tooth and nail to make sure it's successful.
Yeah, he's obviously got all the experience of many tournaments in the past. As marshals that defence with Ruben Diaz at the moment. Here's Remo Freuler for Switzerland. Ball over the top, looking for Vargas to show his pace. Dalot gets his body in the way and tidies up with the ball inside to Pepe. Played into midfield. Otavio runs on now and starts to approach the halfway line. Slip there from Ramos, so Otavio's got no options here. Has to try and go back. In the end, he's done well to win a throw in.
Tell you what, on this near side, João Felix is nicking in behind Fernandes every single time. He has no idea where he is, the fullback. Once again, he would have been free, of course. It was very difficult for Otavio to see the man to try and switch it to over on that far left-hand side for him. But even still, it's been this near side that they've made the breakthroughs, isn't it, Portugal? And a bit of concern here for Switzerland as Cher's down.
Fabian Cher's down with an injury. But yeah, Edmilson Fernandes on the Swiss right-back today. I remember him from West Ham, and he wasn't a right back there. You know, they signed him. I think he was like a holding midfielder, and they played him centre back, and he wasn't very good. So I'm just little bit puzzled as to how he's got the nod at right back today. Sylvain Widmer not available. He's been there right back through the tournament, so there must be some sort of issue there. I think they've chosen the wrong player to replace him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as though Heré Comer is getting ready on the bench. He's just looked out of position every single time. He doesn't look comfortable, does he, whatsoever? He doesn't seem as though he knows exactly where to be, and you just wonder, with this substitution, whether he may be swapped inside, but he's probably the man that Switzerland didn't want to take off at the back. They probably would have rather taken Fernandes off with a quick hook.
Yeah, I mean, it's only early stages. He's got a chance to improve, but like I say, position-wise, he might be a bit susceptible. Elvedi's warming up as well. He'd be the more experienced option to come on for Cher if he's okay. I know he had some sort of liquid there, didn't he? Maybe like a painkiller or something. Or he might have just got cramp or something like that. Yeah,
could perhaps be. It'd be a surprise if they made two changes, but there was two centre-halves both warming up, weren't they, for Switzerland? And yeah, 25 minutes into the game, they look a little bit shaky and are relying on some brilliance from Embolo to cut things open.
It's a free kick to Switzerland, midway inside their own half, played into Freuler's feet, takes it on the half. In fact, this is Shaqiri, isn't it, on the half turn, who comes deep and plays it back to Akanji. Akanji looks up, he's got Embolo pointing for the ball into the channel. He's got Edmilson Fernandes down the right hand side, that's where it's gone, in fact, via Shaqiri. Now Sao moves in field, knocks it square back all the way to Cher. He seems to be all right after his injury problem of a moment or two ago. He seems to be moving quite freely. Vargas now, nice turn to get round Dalot and burst down the left-hand side. Dalot, good catch-up pace there, but Vargas is battling away in the end, just outnumbered by two Portuguese defenders. It's cleared by Pepe out for a throw.
It was dogged attacking, wasn't it, from Fernandes, but Dalot does brilliantly just to get his body in the way, because he did look beaten at one point, but then scampers back beautifully to get in the way and just cause a little bit of disruption. But once again, I think Vargas has probably picked up his head and seen nobody in the box.
Yeah, lack of presence in the middle would have deterred him from putting a ball in there. He's going to try and do something again now. The ball back to goal. Knocks it all the way back to Cher, the central defender. Newcastle United man. And now Akanji. Everywhere you look, there's a Manchester City defender in this World Cup as the ball's played forward. Headed away by Guerrero, now laid off by Ramos, back to João Felix. His strike partner is operating from deep at the moment. He's played it safely back to Ruben Diaz. William Carvalho has come for a short ball, but he's just brought defenders with him, or Swiss players with him. So he's gone into midfield and now played back by Bernardo to Costa.
I'm not 100% sure whether the Swiss defenders know exactly who they're supposed to be picking up, because the midfield of Portugal are absolutely everywhere. Ricardo Rodriguez almost went in a striking position just because he was following Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactical battle, isn't it? There's a lot of sort of movement, a lot of sort of swapping of positions, and some really interesting technical stuff as Remo Freuler tries to take it but falls over as Pepe was nearest to him, but there's no tackle. Now Otavio turns in that centre circle and chips one over the top, but Gonzalo Ramos hadn't made that run. It goes all the way through to Sommer, and he bowls it out quickly, trying to get Switzerland back on the front foot. But Edmilson goes backwards this time to Kanji. And now Cher inside his penalty area. Portugal in their formation, 4-3-3, more or less, into a sort of 4-2-4 when they go into a press. And now sent clear by Sommer up towards Embolo. He's holding off Ruben Diaz, turns him really well. He got too tight, he's been dragged back there. The referee says play on. Embolo really strongly barrelling forward, then he gets brought down again, and now the referee does give the free kick. And there might be a lecture coming here for Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, absolutely. Portugal is saying that the initial free kick should have been given on halfway, not now. It's about 35 yards from goal, but Embolo is dominating Ruben Diaz, isn't he? He's bullying him in this game and even just shoves him out of the way in the end as well.
I wouldn't like marking him.
No.
Ruben Diaz, who's one of the best defenders in the Premier League, I think he knew he was in for a battle, didn't he? That first duel kind of showed what he was expecting tonight, but I mean, that was impressive.
I'm surprised he escaped without a booking as well there, Ruben Diaz. He was pulling him back the whole way, and it was a little bit cynical, but yeah, he's such a tough, just powerful presence to mark, isn't he? Embolo and a couple of men over this free kick as well for Switzerland. It's a bit too far out though, surely.
It might be a bit too far out. This ball does fly a bit, doesn't it? We've got Granit Xhaka, who stood there for the left-footed strike. Xherdan Shaqiri's taken a slightly sort of more angled run up to it. It's a third player that's a right-footed option has now moved away. Referee's just marshalling a wall here for man or three-man Portugal wall, one stood to the side.
He needs Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, Xherdan Shaqiri. He has scored some very good free kicks in the past. He's addressing this ball as if he's the one that's going to hit it. And he does step up, strikes it low, across the goalkeeper and just wide of target.
Yeah, it was whipping, wasn't it, towards that bottom right-hand corner. Costa was going for it in the end, and he was scrambling over there, but it just didn't quite set it enough inside to then curl outside again.
Yeah, he was a bit worried. In fact, there must have been some sort of touch there, either off the wall or off the keeper. And so it will be a Switzerland corner. I believe their first of the game. So Portugal 1, Switzerland 0, half an hour gone at the Lusail Stadium, the venue for the final of Qatar 2022. It's going to be Shaqiri again with a set piece here. He sends it in near post, doesn't beat the first man. It's headed away by Portugal and they try to clear their lines. Now it's hooked back in towards the edge of the box. Embolo leaves it. It's probably offside, and the referee does give the decision there because he was interfering with play. Yeah,
Diaz just almost spotted him, didn't he? Just coming over his blind side there. Don't know whether it was the goalkeeper. Just seeing a replay of the free kick that got a touch on that one. Never quite going into the back of the net, but Costa didn't quite know that exactly. It was an unusual situation, though, from that corner kick that the Swiss man just decided to hook it back over his head, almost in worry that they would get caught on the counter-attack. Just took the safe option.
Yeah, Portugal established possession inside the Swiss half again now with Guerreiro. Starts to run forward, plays it off to Bruno Fernandes. He switches it across over to the right-hand side, and his club colleague Dalot drop back into the path of Bernardo. He starts to move forward now with a bit of intent. He's got Swiss defenders backing off here towards the penalty area. Bernardo leaves it for Dalot. Goes back via William Carvalho all the way back to Pepe. Switzerland pushing out. Portugal's movement to the ball is just forcing the Swiss into these sort of 20-yard drops, 15-yard sprints up the pitch. It's going to take its toll over the course of what could be a 120-minute match for this round of 16 clash. Good ball there inside, finds Bernardo. Now they've moved it to Otavio. The Porto man drives through midfield, plays it wide to João Felix, out to the left-hand side on his right foot, delivering across into the middle. It's flicked on, and it's flicked just wide by Fabian Schär. He knew there was trouble behind with Portuguese players flooding the box, but he just about did enough there to knock it behind for the corner. It's
a brilliant cross, isn't it, from Felix, because I think the defender has to get something on it because it's going close to that far post, isn't it? Even if he misses it, it could go into the back of the net, but Ramos, as you said, was just purring just behind him. Good flick in the end from Schär, but I'm not sure he knew too much about it.
Yeah, well, he seems to be all right after that little fitness issue he had about 10 minutes ago, because that did take a bit of a stretch to get to that arcing ball from João Felix, and it will be Bruno Fernandes, I think, to take the corner. He's over there with a right-footed option to deliver. It's been an away swinging ball. Carvalho, Pepe and Ruben Dias all sort of bunched around the penalty spot. This one goes in towards the back post area, headed by Pepe and headed in. The veteran has scored. It's 2-0 to Portugal, and it's Pepe.
That's too easy for Pepe to climb above everybody in the middle of the 6-yard box there. Nobody challenge him. Free header. It's 5 yards out. Easy goal.
Yeah, great delivery from Bruno Fernandes, but the climb from Pepe was outstanding. He almost went off a trampoline there, the way he got up so high above Swiss defenders. Jan Sommer, I mean, he doesn't come for crosses. That's part of his game. He's stuck to his line, and then he just sees the ball fly past him into the back of the net.
Yeah, 8th goal for Portugal for Pepe, and the veteran who takes the captain's armband, puts his side 2 goals to the good. And Cristiano Ronaldo on the sidelines is pretty happy with his team's performance. He just strolls off the defender. I think it may even be Fernandes, and then beats Akanji to it, who's just behind him, isn't he? He's trying to get his arm across. He's never going to be able to do it. And Pepe just does the smart thing, heads it down. It's not even in the corner, but it didn't need to be.
Yep, age is just a number. We saw a 39-year-old playing for Brazil the other night, Dani Alves. But to be honest, it looked like he was quite up to the job, really, playing in a World Cup finals. But Pepe does, doesn't he? He looks absolutely, top form. 2
great rivals, of course, Barcelona and Real Madrid in that spell between the two. Yeah. And just looking at the stats as well, the first goal from Ramos, the expected goals was 0.04, such was the brilliant finish. But that Pepe one, it's just a guaranteed goal, isn't it? It's such an easy header from 5 yards, and Switzerland have only got themselves to blame.
I don't know, you ask John Stones how easy those headers are. Ball goes back to Jan Sommer. He clears his time, but the Swiss are shell-shocked, 2-0 down in the round of 16 clash with Portugal at Lusail Stadium. They need something back here, and pretty quickly. 10 minutes before the break, can they muster something through? Vargas, who's coming down the left-hand side, slips it to Freuler's feet. His instinctively wants to go backwards there. He's looking for support, but he's got no support, and Carvalho's won it back for Portugal. Just plays it back to Pepe, and the goal scorer finds Otavio. Under a bit of pressure, he does well, manages to get it through. And now Portugal can spring from deep now with Guerreiro crossing the halfway line. He's got options ahead of him, 2 of them. One of them is out to the right-hand side. It's Gonzalo Ramos. He's found Felix in the penalty area. A little shimmy to get to the byline. Tries to cut it back. Just overcooked the ball back towards Ramos, who tries to recover it towards the byline. In the end, he's claiming he's been brought down. The referee says throw in.
Yeah, he does say throw in. Yeah, he does switch his mind to Switzerland throw in the end. The referee waving away that one. He certainly got a little bit of a nick. I'm not sure whether it was enough, but what an effort it was from Felix to try and clip it towards that far post. I don't think Ramos quite adjudged it, but there's too much space in that Swiss midfield. Akanji got caught upfield and they just broke 3-on-3. And to be honest, Portugal probably should have done better to get a shot off.
He's a bit unlucky there, Gonzalo Ramos, because there was a bit of contact. Yeah. You can see what he's doing. I think because of it, referees, they say they won't do it, but they referee a lot on reputation. Messi gets that free kick, Ronaldo gets that free kick, Gonzalo Ramos doesn't. But maybe in the next World Cup he does, because he's just done what he's done in this game.
Yeah, I mean? Yeah, absolutely. And if it was Hazard or a Grealish or a Zaha that we've seen so many times in the Premier League win foul after foul after foul, they might have got it as well.
Yeah, I think he's unlucky there, but there you go. The referees told him to get up, and maybe if he carries on with that spirit throughout the game, then we'll have a really good flowing contest. It's been a good watch already so far, with 2 goals, both to Portugal, and Switzerland really have to find a route through this Portuguese defence now. Embolo looks like the one they want to get the ball to in the middle, but he's struggling to really get involved now as Freuler plays it to Sau. Back he goes into midfield and carried forward by Vargas. Out to that left-hand side again. Down the line it goes to Vargas, who's got no way forward, so plays it back to Rodriguez. He's not really gone on the overlap yet. Back to Xhaka in midfield. Square now to Akanji. Kind of missing out Edmilson now, aren't they? They really have just okay, we're not coming down the right because we don't want to go, you know, you've not done much in that game so far. They're just totally focused on trying the left here. Switzerland, they've got to throw in.
Yeah, absolutely, and Akanji and Cher have pushed right up beyond the halfway line as well, haven't they? Trying to pen Portugal back inside their own half for really the first time in this game. I don't think that really suits Embolo, because he's a man that wants a little bit of space and time to be able to bully the centre halves, and he's not received it to feet back to the defender yet, has he?
No, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to play, you know, on transition or on the counter-attack now, is it? Because Portugal can just sit deep if they want to and deny Embolo that space he probably craves in behind. He's come short. They're trying to open something up now for a nice flick header from Sau. It reaches Edmilson. What's his delivery like? Good ball fizzed across, and it's punched about, and then it's hit off the line. Dallo was back there as Switzerland almost got a goal back, and then smashed over the bar by Cher into the crowd. Yeah,
speculative effort from Fabian Cher on the volley, sprinting towards goal, but great defensive awareness, wasn't it, from Dallo? It's a good flick initially from Sau, and to be fair to the fullback Fernandes, he whips it in beautifully. Almost found Remo Freuler just inside the front post. The goalkeeper gets across, gets a hand to it. Wasn't convincing, but Dallo was there to sweep up.
Yeah, Freuler's eyes lit up there. We saw that parry from Costa fall his way, but Dallo was back on the line. Guerreiro was out helping out as well. But Embolo's movement created that, didn't he? He comes short, dragged pretty much both centre-backs with him, and then the ball was played over the top, and it was down to the full-backs really to sort of try and cover it.
Yeah, a little bit of encouragement before half-time. I mean, if you could nick one back and go into the second half just one down, that would be huge, and the pressure would, of course, then be on Portugal. It might limit their flow in attack. You never know, but yeah, just got to stay into this game and just try and nick one.
Referee's given a free kick here for a foul by Ruben Dias on Bril Embolo. Embolo with the roll eyes expression as he gets back to his feet. So 7 minutes to the break. Switzerland looking lively with Sau dropping a bit deeper, plays it across to Rodriguez. Knocks it square into the feet of Xhaka. That's aimed towards Freuler, who's gone into a challenge, and he's brought down Pepe, so it'll be a free kick to Portugal. Just a free kick. Pepe staying down to try and maybe entice the referee to issue a yellow. Well, Freuler's been in a couple of those today, hasn't he? A little bit of a sort of just slightly late. Is he just making him look late, or what? Or just making him, I don't know. I'm trying to work out whether he's doing it on purpose or not.
Well, I think it was caused by Xhaka's touch, which was really poor, and it meant that he was rushed in the pass and absolutely fired it towards Freuler. But Pepe obviously got there first, and yeah, I mean, the first one which Pepe was caught, it was a proper studs on the top of the foot, and it was a real sore one. That one, there wasn't too much in it, but it was just one of them little late nudges.
Freuler's after him again there. I mean, Freuler's playing central midfield. Pepe's a centre-back. They seem to be spending a lot of time next to each other in this game.
Yeah, I think Sau and Freuler are trying to push up alongside Mbola, whereas Xhaka is the deeper one, which is a surprise, really, because Freuler has stayed deeper for Forest this season, and Xhaka has been pushing up for Arsenal.
Yeah. I just wonder if maybe Murat Yakin's just got a bit too... He's overcomplicated things. He's sort of overthought it a little bit, maybe, and just needs to get back to putting his players in the positions that they're best suited to.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course he's trying to fit Shaqiri in this side, and he's the awkward one because he's not quite got the legs to chase back, has he? And if he stays up top and Mbolo's not getting back, then you're on the back foot already.
This is Shaqiri receiving the ball, but good tackling back from Bruno Fernandes. He's played forward, takes a deflection, Rodriguez brings it down, and his first thought is to pass it back all the way back to Sommer on the edge of the box. He takes a touch, Ramos is in attendance, and he hurries the clearance up to halfway. Played inside by Freuler, but it's given away. And Portugal now can make some advances here with João Felix. Ramos in the centre-forward position. He's played wide right to Bruno Fernandes. 2 in the box to aim for. Digs out a deep cross. In fact, I think he might have gone for goal there. It wasn't a good cross or shot in the end, and it's an apology from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, hand up in apology, because Ramos was sprinting towards that front post. I'm not exactly sure whether he was going front or back from Fernandes, but it wasn't his finest effort. But just returning to that thought on Switzerland, Fernandes is staying, Edmilson Fernandes is staying so high up on this right-hand side, and Rodriguez is dropping in on the left. It's kind of like a back five with Vargas as the left wing-back.
Yeah.
Jack is in that middle, but there's no right-sided player because Fernandes is dropping back more than he's going forward. It's a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah. He's got one cross in the whole game so far. It was a good cross, actually. Well, he was fumbled by the keeper, but yeah, they perhaps need a little bit more symmetry in this formation as ball is played back across that back three. I think we should call it now to Akanji, over to Edmilson Fernandes. Akanji again. So Borussia Dortmund steps over the halfway line, tries to thread it through towards Vargas. Nice ball onto Sau, then flicked on towards Shaqiri. Can he get it down on his dangerous left foot? He plays it further wide, and the ball comes back in from Xhaka, but it's not a good ball from the midfielder, and Portugal played away to João Felix. He was caught there by Cher. Referee says play on because Portugal are in possession. They've got a chance to break here through the middle. Bruno Fernandes, can he get the pass right? Yes, he can. He's threaded through to Ramos. Could be 3-0. What a save from Jan Sommer, who stuck a big left hand out to deny Ramos a second goal in the game.
Crucial save. Yellow card comes out for Fabian Cher for that foul on halfway, but boy, what a save it's that. That could keep Switzerland in this game, because if they're 3-0 down at half-time, 2 goals it would have been for the youngster Ramos, that is probably game over. And to be fair to Ramos, to be fair to the goalkeeper, Ramos should score there. That's how good the save is, and just seeing it was a little bit of a nasty challenge, wasn't it, from Cher?
Yeah, he misses the next match because he was booked. It's really good referee and that from the Mexican official to allow the play on and allow the counter-attack to take its course, to run its course. It's obviously ended in a good save from Sommer, but then he's gone back and booked Cher, who was adamant that he just, not really caught the player, but you can see from the replay the referee's right over it. He's made the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Great ball as well from Fernandes.
Yeah, quick short corner from Portugal. It's played in deep to the back post. Pepe with the first header. It's almost scrambled away. Drops in the penalty area, and Bolo calmly plays it to safety, but again, not great defending from Switzerland. No
miscommunication there between Akanji and Jan Sommer, both going for the ball on the 6-yard box. It was a good cutback, wasn't it, from Pepe? Just kept the ball alive. Ramos wasn't quite attacking it, but such is the frantic nature of that Switzerland defence, they just could not properly clear it.
Yeah, Ramos is a handful, isn't he? Whether it's running through the middle or whether it's just his position inside the penalty area. And, he almost was able to rescue that situation for Portugal. João Felix tips it back to Otavio. Sorry, Bernardo that was. He goes back to his Manchester City colleague Ruben Dias, and now Pepe plays it across to Carvalho. Pressed by Shaqiri, he has to go back to his goalkeeper. Just a couple of minutes left in the first half at Lusail Stadium, where Portugal are 2-0 to the good. Could have been 3-0, but for that good save from Sommer. Gonzalo Ramos rises, wins a header, but plays it back. Now Otavio knocks it forward, laid off by Bruno Fernandes to João Felix. Guerrero sort of half jogging to the left-hand side, leaves it. It's played to João Felix again. Portugal just slowing things down here. They want to get to half-time with that 2-goal cushion. And just now going to a bit of a game management mode here, going all the way back from inside the Swiss half back to the keeper.
Yeah, change needed at half-time for Switzerland, whether it's personnel, whether it's formation, something has to change, doesn't it? Because Portugal have dominated this first half, and you can only see it going one way in the second. Should they stay exactly the same, the confidence is flowing now through these Portuguese players, and Felix in particular just picks up the ball wherever he wants.
Oh, great run from João Felix, who goes from deep and he carries on into the Switzerland half. He's got runners off him. In fact, one of them is Guerrero. He's played it short to Bruno Fernandes. He wants a shot. He's still procrastinating on the edge box, tries to flick it through, and it wasn't there as Akanji clears. But that was a great run from João Felix from almost on the edge of his own penalty area.
Yeah, it was. 4 minutes of added time to come. I think Fernandes just overcomplicated things in the end, but nonetheless, what a driving run that was from Felix. Inside his own third, you would say, and then drove it all the way into the Switzerland third. He's brimming with confidence is the young Atletico Madrid start, and yeah, that just summarises Portugal's dominance.
Yeah, they have been... they've been worth a 2-0 lead, I think it's fair to say. You know, the first goal was a shock. It was a flash strike from a very sort of low percentage opportunity that flew in. The second goal was from a set piece, and Switzerland have really not constructed enough. Changes needed, as you say, at half time. I wonder if one player that might get a look in here for Switzerland is Fabian Rieder, a young player who made his I think Swiss debut in one of the earlier games. Winger, he could be somebody that Murat Yakin turns to. He needs a wild card, he needs a joker, doesn't he? Someone to come up with something out of the ordinary. And Rieder, having not really got that massive international profile, might be somebody the Portuguese aren't quite familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's Dennis Zakaria, who's a more safe player in the middle of the park. You could look at it two ways, couldn't you? You could bring on Rieder in the flash of youth and exuberance up top, or you could bring someone to sit and allow somebody else to go up top that's already on the field. It's one of those, isn't it? But he has to do something. I mean, he's got Seferovic, who's a big number 9, isn't he, for Switzerland? He's scored goals, bags of them for Switzerland in the past. The problem is, Embolo has been brilliant in that position so far when he's picked up the ball. He's just not had it enough.
Fabian Schär tested there. Yeah. Diogo Dalot would scamper down the right-hand side, and Schär looked like he'd stiffened up a little bit before he got the clearance in and put it behind for the corner. Yeah, clearly changes needed for Switzerland, but one thing they have to do here is address marking from the corner, because Pepe's strode up into the penalty area again. Carvalho's there, and Ruben Dias are there, like they were for the previous one that was headed home from Pepe, so they've got to do better this time. Corner taken short. That's an interesting one from Portugal. Why would you take it short, having just done what you did on the previous corner? They play it all the way back to Dalot, who's going to play it square to Guerrero. And now Guerrero goes for shots, and he smashes it way over the crossbar.
He's got it in his locker as Rafael Guerrero to strike a good ball with his left boot, but just cuts right across that one, doesn't it? I tell you what, it's never going in the back of the net, no way. He's reaching for it, jumps about 3 feet in the air as well when he strikes it, but that is baffling. Why would you play a short corner when you've just scored from your only corner in the game, and it was a perfectly placed one in the 6-yard box?
We're into the 3rd minute of the 4 additional that the official has added on. So it looks like it's going to be 2-0 at the break, unless something really dramatic happens in the next 70 seconds or so. To Vargas, who turns. Dalot playing a little bit soft there as it's played into the penalty area, and although the run had been made there by Xherdan Shaqiri, the pass was too strong. It's going to be a goal kick. Yeah,
he's not blessed with great pace anymore, Xherdan Shaqiri, but if he found himself on the end of that one and turned it into the box, Embolo was free on the penalty spot once again. It's a good opportunity for Switzerland, and Vargas just has to neaten up that pass.
Yeah, just not clinical enough, not precise enough, really, the Swiss players in this game. As we see another replay of that emphatic hit from Gonzalo Ramos. He's not left-footed, is he?
No, he's right-footed, and he hits it.
That was his swinger.
106 kilometres he struck that one at.
I mean, yeah, that is one of the all-time great goals with his swinger, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in hope, and it worked.
Have Switzerland got any hope left? They need a response, don't they, pretty quickly after half-time. The referee is just bringing an end to the first 45 minutes now, and it's Portugal 2, Switzerland 0.
Half-time at the Lusail Stadium, and it's Portugal 2, Switzerland 0 at the break. A stunning strike on 17 minutes from Gonçalo Ramos with his first goal at half-time at the Lusail Stadium, and it's 2-0 to Portugal at the break. A stunning strike from Gonçalo Ramos on the 17th minute. His first start for Portugal, and a left-footed bullet into the near top corner saw his side go 1 into the lead. That was then doubled through Pepe, a perfect set-piece routine from a corner, which saw Fernandez's ball inside the 6-yard box, headed home by the veteran centre-half. 2-0 at the break. Half-time at the Lusail Stadium, and it's 2-0 to Portugal at the break. A stunning strike from Gonçalo Ramos on the 17th minute. His first start for Portugal, and a left-footed bullet into the near top corner saw his side go 1 into the lead. That was then doubled through Pepe, a perfect set-piece routine from a corner, which saw Fernandez's ball inside the 6-yard box, headed home by the veteran centre-half. 2-0 at the break. Half-time at the Lusail Stadium, and it's 2-0 to Portugal at the break. A stunning strike from Gonçalo Ramos on the 17th minute. His first start for Portugal, and a left-footed bullet into the near top corner saw his side go 1 into the lead. That was then doubled through Pepe, a perfect set-piece routine from a corner, which saw Fernandez's ball inside the 6-yard box, headed home by the veteran centre-half. 2-0 at the break. Half-time at the Lusail Stadium. inside the 6-yard box, headed home by the veteran centre-half. 2-0 at the break. We'll leave that there as we're just about to get back underway in the second half at the Lusail Stadium. Portugal 2, Switzerland 0 is the score at present. Of course, goals from Gonçalo Ramos and Pepe in the first half give Portugal this strong lead, and it's the second half in which Switzerland really do need to change things up, and it looks as though they have made a substitution as well. So we're hearing this
O.A.T, isn't it? Who was warming up before to come on for Cher. He looked really stiff, didn't he, when he made that clearance just before half time on the one that went for the corner, and he's obviously not. Maybe he would have stiffened up at half time anyway. If it's a muscle injury, something like that's just gone. And yeah, so O.A.T, who's much less experienced than Cher, is on in his place. Yep,
yellow card as well, wasn't there in the first half for Fabian Cher?
Yes,
so
that's true, yeah.
if he's not quite at full speed and he's got a yellow card, he's a walking red card, you could say. I wonder if there's a change in formation as well. We'll see how it develops, but they really did get caught quite a lot in the first half. Murat Yakin side, but for Portugal, they were strong, they were solid, and bursting through the defensive line there is Bernardo Silva, just chests it down and eventually can't quite get it under control. Comer is just having to go back to his own goalkeeper, almost playing the ball out as Jan Sommer looks to search down the right hand side, just gets it past João Felix.
I mean, that's a risky ball from any goalkeeper. They're going to have to play some risky passes, but I don't think they want the goalkeeper to play the risky passes in the second half.
No, absolutely not. Portugal then unchanged in this second half. Diogo Costa between the sticks, Dalot, Pepe, Diaz and Guerreiro, the back four. Bernardo Silva, William Carvalho, Otavio and Bruno Fernandes are that fluid midfield lineup with Gonçalo Ramos and João Felix, the more front line men. Searching ball down the right hand side for Switzerland, finds Xherdan Shaqiri, but he can't take that under control. He looks like he's wide on the right hand side as Portugal have an advantage here, as William Carvalho has his ankles just clipped by Sau, but he continues, plays it down the left hand side looking for Bernardo Silva, didn't quite have the legs and it's turned away by Comet.
Yeah, just covering across there. Bernardo made a good run. Not really made too many forward runs in this game so far, but he found a bit of space there, but Comet quickly closed it off.
Yeah, so Comet into that back four for Switzerland. Jan Sommer, the goalkeeper. It's Edmilson, Fernandes, Akanji and Rodriguez make up that back four. In the second half, it looks as though Remo Freuler and Granit Xhaka are a more central sitting two, with Sau in front, Shaqiri on the right, Ruben Vargas on the left, and Brel and Bolo up top. It was an interesting formation lineup for Switzerland in the first half, often looking like a back five with Vargas as that left wing back, but once again they're giving the ball away, and here comes Bernardo Silva down the left looking for a searching cross. It's blocked away by Akanji's teammates for Manchester City, and out for a corner kick.
Yeah, his ears will be ringing here because he's turned his head and it's hit him right on the side of the head there, that ball that was played in by Bernardo.
A little bit of a sore one, 3 minutes into this second half. Ruben Diaz up from the back. Boy, he knows he's had a game despite being 2-0 up in this one, and Bolo has run him ragged so far in this game.
We saw those penalties given at the early stage of the tournament, didn't we, for grabbing and holding at corners, and I think that was probably a symptom of how Pepe was able to get so free for the corner which Portugal scored from.
Yeah, perhaps this time it's from the other side, whipped into the front post. It's a flick on by Ramos, it's steered away in the end by Rodriguez out towards Vargas, just hesitates on the edge of the box, poor control by Freuler, just stops to toe that one away in the end, but once again frantic defending from the Swiss.
Yeah, I mean they're hanging on, aren't they, really, because every ball that goes into that penalty area, you are worried now that they're going to lose the first contact, and that was almost flicked in at the near post, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good from Ramos, wasn't it, attacking that ball at the near post. There were two men, there was him and the goal scorer, the second goal scorer, because he's the first. There was Pepe just in front of him. They just seemed as though they were always going to win that. It's like the burgundy red and the green shirts today are just looking more vibrant. It looks as though there's more of them on the field so far. And a look to the skies already from Djibril Sau in this second half as he looks up to the skies, and a little bit of despondency there, chasing down and not able to receive it, as nor is Bruno Fernandes in an advanced position as the ball bounces past him. Out for a Swiss throw in on the right hand side, controlled now by Freuler, chops it inside to Sau. That's better from him, but he's under pressure from Carvalho, who just nicks his ankle. Be a routine free kick on the halfway line. Already seen shots of Cristiano Ronaldo warming up from the sidelines. You would expect he would come on at some point in this, even if they're 2 or 3-0 up, just to get a World Cup knockout stage goal.
Yeah, I just hope it's not in the 89th minute, because he'll be complaining that the manager was disrespecting him and just head straight down the tunnel and not come on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of talk of Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, hasn't he, with Erik ten Hag, and now Fernando Santos coming under his wrath. As on the left-hand side is Fernandes, looks to chip one in towards the far post, into Ramos, a good header away from the retreating Vargas. It only comes out to Dalot, just stops on the ball for the moment, just outside the box on the right-hand side, flip-flap, right-hand side, right foot across from post. What a goal from Portugal, and it's a second from Ramos.
Great movement, absolutely fantastic movement. This is bad news for Cristiano Ronaldo, because they're not dropping this guy now. 2 goals in a World Cup round of 16 game, and just bursting onto the scene. The movement is fantastic here. So the ball goes out to the right-hand side. The cross is slightly delayed, but he just comes back. He comes back and gets into a position where he can make that near-post run in front of the defender, and it's a great little toe-poke finish.
It's experienced number 9 play from a very inexperienced number 9, isn't it? It's brilliant work as well for Diogo Dalot. It's a perfect cross, laid on a plate for him at the front post. He just gets a touch on it. It goes through the goalkeeper's legs, and yes, there was a little nick on the deflection on the cross, but it's just brilliant striker's play, and there's no way that Comert's getting anywhere near it.
No, Comert's been done there by Ramos's movement. The finish is exquisite. Like I say, Dalot's done well to even get that ball in from out wide, and yeah, it's game over now for the Swiss, isn't it? They had to score the first goal, even if it was like 10 minutes, even 5 minutes to go. They had to get the next goal in this game, the first goal of the second half, and they haven't. It's 3-0, and it's game over.
Yeah, absolutely. We of course have seen Morocco and Spain go to penalties, as well as Japan against Croatia, but it doesn't look as though it's going to be a third round of 16 game in a row which will go to penalties. 3-0 up now, Portugal, inside 51 minutes of this game, and they surely will be facing Morocco in the next round, the quarter-finals, of course, of the World Cup, and it looks all but assured that they are the final team to join those quarter-final ties, and some mouth-watering clashes as well. Netherlands, Argentina, England, France, as well as Croatia, Brazil, and now Morocco, Portugal. You just wonder, is there going to be an upset in the cards, and could it be Morocco, Portugal? We'll have to see. But the Swiss here, they will fight for pride more than anything.
Yeah, double change coming up from Murat Yakin. Feel as though it's a bit late though, isn't it, really? But he's got 2 subs about to enter the field of play when the ball goes out next door. The referee stops the game next. It's just, I mean, if they get the next goal, it might give them some hope, but I just don't see where it's coming from, do you? Brillem below, it looks so isolated, and there's not much support there. The midfield's getting overrun.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Felix, left foot across, or shot. Not sure about that one. He claims for a corner kick as the ball drifts wide of the left-hand upright, as Jan Sommer is accustomed to that one, but not the greatest in it. It did take a nick, actually, so just see that little replay. But as you said, midfield are completely overrun for Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is how the game in Lisbon went when Portugal won 4-0. Just it looks like it's a mismatch, complete mismatch, and they've got another set piece there, and you wonder, is it going to be another education for them from this set piece? Yeah, potentially. Of the recent head-to-heads, it's Portugal 3, Switzerland 2 in that sense, but this is certainly going to be made 4-2. Once again, it's Bruno Fernandes over this one. Already got 1 assist tonight, as has Dalot and Felix. They will be the Manchester United man for the outswinging right-footed corner. In towards Pepe again, wins it, bounces down off Ricardo Rodriguez. Half-hearted claims at a penalty for a handball as he whips that one away for a throw-in. I thought the referee had stopped it there. I thought he was saying just stop for a check. He's hit him in the lap. It's not handball. As he's saying, stop it because it's going to be a substitution. That's it. Just when you see the referee do that, you think, oh no, he's been told on his headset there's going to be a VAR check. Absolutely, and here come the 2 changes now for Switzerland. Haris Seferovic and Denis Zakaria, it looks like, for Djibril Sow and Remo Freuler. So Seferovic up top, and Bolo will probably drop in between, and Zakaria straight swap for Freuler. Yeah, Seferovic scored the winner, I think, in that 1-0 return game victory they had in the Nations League. These 2 sides, of course, in the same Nations League section in Ligue A this last summer, so they played each other in the space of a week. 4-0 to Portugal in Lisbon, then 1-0 when they played in, I think it was probably Bern, and I think Seferovic who got the winning goal that day, so he's got some history against Portugal. Yeah, absolutely. In the first minute of that game as well, he
got the goal, Seferovic, and Geneva. It was the host of that game. It was one of the two, wasn't it?
Probably some athletics going on in Bern or something like that at the same time.
Absolutely. So 2 changes then for Switzerland. We'll see if they make any difference in this game whatsoever. If they can draw level as a second half, they can at least say they've drawn the second half, but it won't stem the worries nonetheless. As here come Portugal once again, left-hand side of the box. Will it be 4? It will be 4, as this time it's Rafael Guerreiro smashes the ball into the roof of that. This is too easy. Yeah, he just ran off his man, his Ed Milson, who we highlighted was a big problem in the first half, and Guerreiro's just run past him there, and he should not be allowed the space that he had. I mean, great awareness from Bruno Fernandes, slipping the ball there, and he's run through, lashed it home. Nothing Sommer could do. The poor faces of the Swiss fans, who probably were expecting this to be a close game, and it's an absolute annihilation at the moment. Yeah, absolutely. 56 minutes gone in the game. Portugal 4, Switzerland 0, and we just see a replay of that goal. Just too many bodies diving into tackles, not winning the ball, and it's just a simple finish in the end, isn't it, for Guerreiro? And Jan Sommer has come back into the team, and he's not really been able to do anything about any of the goals. No, it was a nice back heel. Kanji got caught out by Otavio's back heel, but Ed Milson, I don't know how he's not kept pace with him there, Rafael Guerreiro, but in the end he's just fired it into the top of the net, and the goalkeeper was rather unprotected. Yeah, absolutely. This game is done and dusted. 4-0. If it wasn't already done and dusted, it is now. Comer, the half-time substitute, just shaking his head there, wondering what's happened on the opposite side of defence to him, and it's jubilation on the faces of these Portugal players. And you just wonder, at what point will Fernando Santos decide, let's start switching some of this line-up and resting them for the next game? Yeah, I mean, I think coaches have a little bit of a dilemma with this World Cup because obviously we saw it with Brazil a little bit the other night, where the ball's almost found Embolo there. Sorry, Matt. It's all right. Diaz going for the header, not quite assured on that, and Embolo just shoves Guerreiro out. Yeah, so Chiche had made 10 changes in his last group game. So when he picked the team for the round of 16 game, he kept the majority of the starting 11 on for a long time, sort of like 75, 80 minutes, because they wouldn't have had a game in more than a week. And then if he'd taken them off there, they wouldn't have the rhythm, the 90 minutes in the legs for the next round of quarterfinals. And I think that's not to the same levels. The corner comes in, and there's a chance. And I think that's gone in at the back post from Akanji. Yeah, so Switzerland have got one back, and it is Manuel Akanji who's just stuck it in at the far post. Just a bit of nothing as the ball just came free to him at the far post. Maybe a little bit of hope then, as Jordan Shaqiri was the man who whipped it in from the far stick. I think it's Ramos actually that's got a touch at the front post. It is Ramos, and then Akanji was free at the far post. Yeah, Pepe was shouting for it. Ramos either didn't hear him or ignored him, and has flicked it on beautifully for Akanji, who's at the back post just lurking there, and he finishes it off nicely. So 13 minutes gone second half. Switzerland have got a goal. Unfortunately, they've conceded 2. Yeah, the second half. 3 goals in the second half already. I just wonder whether Jordan Shaqiri will get the assist for that goal in what will perhaps be his final. Well, you never know. It might be his final Switzerland appearance. You never know. It's probably his final World Cup appearance for Switzerland as he breaks the appearance record for his nation. But yeah, a goal back for Switzerland. Incidentally, it was Ramos who got the assist for the Guerreiro goal, so he's right at the forefront of everything in the second half. That's true. Yeah, I thought it was Bruno Fernandes, but it was a lovely ball either way. Very unselfish from Ramos. He just blotted his copybook there. 2 goals and assist, and now an assist for a Swiss comeback goal. But I think it's an interesting call from Fernando Santos here as to what he does with his substitutions. Like I say, I think he'd want to keep, if these players are going to start in the quarter-final in a few days' time, I think he'd want to keep them on for a little bit longer and then get them off with our sort of 15 minutes. Yeah, yellow card here for Comer, the substitute, as he's just been caught on the break there. I believe the tie against Morocco will be on the 10th of December, which is just 4 days' time. So it's a quicker turnaround than it was for this game. Yeah, it is, yeah. And that's the problem Chichi had. There was a bit too much time between his Brazil's round of 16 game and their quarter-final. Yeah, absolutely. As the ball comes out on the near side of the field then for a Portugal throw-in. 59 minutes gone. Independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary. Portugal 4, Switzerland 1. It's, I believe, in 1954, Switzerland were involved in the largest scoring World Cup game ever, something like 6-4 against Austria, against their nearby rivals, something along those lines. And we're slowly getting towards that scoreline in this game as a long ball forward Portugal is just cut out of the path.
You wouldn't rule it out, would you? You wouldn't rule out maybe Portugal scoring 6. I'm not sure about Switzerland scoring 4, but I think Portugal got a couple more goals than them for sure. Switzerland are pushing up, and we saw they got completely caught out on the counter-attack for the last goal they conceded.
Yeah, absolutely. Just even more confidence to flow through the Portugal team, perhaps, if they were to pick up another couple of goals. And tell you what, they will be annoyed that the clean sheet is gone, but they'll just have to forget about that and just hold on to the one goal conceded as Xhaka fizzes it out to the left into Rodriguez. Looked for a first-time cross, but it's blocked away by the back of Diogo Dalot. There's Xhaka, just caught late by Otavio. Referee just says play on for now. Our mark is up now as Akanji goes short to Comet. It's on the edge, well, on the halfway line, should I say. Xhaka once again out to the right, and Portugal are more than happy here to let Switzerland have the ball. Still yet to see Haris Seferovic pick up the ball to feet. As Edimilson down the right into Shaqiri, clips it over the top for Zakaria. The Chelsea man looks to cut one back. Good foot in there from William Carvalho. Just opts to give away the corner.
Yeah, it's a nice run. It's arguably one of the best midfielder runs we've seen all night from the Swiss. He's in there, but credit to Carvalho. Stuck with him, used his strength, and saw it behind for the corner. Yeah,
absolutely. It was a simple one in the end for Carvalho, in the fact that he'd set himself well in positions. Akanji once again in the box, left-footed in, swinging corner, front post, headed away though. A strong head of Guerrero, I believe, as the header is put back in by Ricardo Rodriguez, but that one in the end just sees its way all the way through to goalkeeper Diogo Costa. No surprise, some of the Portuguese fans inside the Lusail Stadium still on their feet, but the previous captain for the rest of this tournament, Cristiano Ronaldo's not on his feet. I just wonder whether there's been a lot of talk about him coming on. I just wonder whether he's even bothered to come on at this stage of the game.
Well, I think you're better off bringing him on now than later. And also, you saw how Gonzalo Ramos didn't particularly defend the near post well on that penultimate Swiss corner. Ronaldo would do a better job defending on corners, and that might be, it's not what he'd want to come on for, but from a coach's point of view, I think you get Ronaldo on for his defensive aspects on set pieces now. Yeah,
absolutely. We all know about Ronaldo's heading prowess, don't we, and his leap in mid-air. I think the one thing holding Fernando Santos back from that is that Gonzalo Ramos is on a hat-trick, and his first start for Portugal.
Shouldn't really be a consideration.
No, it shouldn't really, but he's got his assist to make it 3 goal contributions, I suppose, as Edimilson down the right-hand side receives it from Shaqiri. Cross comes in towards the 6-yard box, could turn away from Pepe. Left-footed volley out for a throw-in back on the far side as Seferovic was right behind him. Just saw shots of Danilo Pereira there on the bench, or should I say he's not really on the bench because he's not fit for today's game. As Shaqiri turns quickly down the right-hand side, Otavio recovering to try and get to the ball, and a foul goes against Shaqiri. Arms across the Porto man, and free kick goes against him as he, just like his teammate Mbolo in the first half, complains to that linesman.
Yeah, and it was a shove, wasn't it? They are quick to go down sometimes, the Portuguese players, but you can't get away with that one really. It's going to get spotted, especially in front of the linesman. It's about time. I think we saw Portugal making changes now. I think at 4-1 they are relatively safe. They've got minutes in the legs of most of these players now, so time for Fernando Santos to turn to the bench and bring on some fresh bodies. Yep,
63 minutes gone. Just seeing João Felix on our screens. He's been impressive tonight, but that's not impressive from Diogo Costa as he just curls his free kick straight out of play for a throw-in on that left-hand side. 7-5 it was to Austria against Switzerland in the 1954 World Cup.
That is the highest scoring game, is it?
It is. Hungary 10, El Salvador 1 in Spain 1982. That was the next top scorer, so it'd have to go some way to reach those, but yeah, we have seen 5 goals already. Plenty of big scoring games, of course, already in this tournament, with Spain winning 7-0, of course, against Costa Rica. Costa Rica, for all but 2 minutes, were seeing themselves through to the knockout stages at Spain's behest as well, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the signs were there that maybe Spain weren't a vintage crop this year. There's a deep crossing from Bruno Fernandes from the group stages, really. They made it look very good by Costa Rica being so awful in that opening game, and then the sort of form tailed off, didn't it, with the draw they had with Germany, and it wasn't a classic Germany squad, and then the defeat to South Korea.
The defeat to Japan.
Correct.
No, absolutely. It was
Portugal lost to South Korea, wasn't it?
It was indeed. So yeah, both the two Iberian teams losing against an Asian team in this tournament already, and one of them seeing through to the quarter-finals, with Portugal leading this one by 4-1 against Switzerland. The 15 side in the world. Portugal only ranked 9 in the world, and you look to the likes of Belgium, who have really failed to impress in this tournament, and you just wonder about those FIFA rankings, don't you, whether they're a fair reflection?
I mean, yeah, I guess they are in a way. It's a chance there for Switzerland, but he's caught there in ball. The referee says play on.
Yep, down the left-hand side is Ricardo Rodriguez. He's just pressed by Carvalho. So Xhaka turns it out to Vargas on this near side. He's been a workhorse, hasn't he, Vargas, in this game? Not really been able to stamp his influence on proceedings going forward as Edemilson into Shaqiri. Forward run from Zakara. Zakara here is opted to just go to Edemilson. Crossed, is deflected there of Rafael Guerreiro, and what will be the adjudication? Just a throw-in for now. So it's taken into the feet of Shaqiri. Dropped back to Edemilson. Back to Shaqiri again. Left-footer crossing chance. Looks to whip it towards the far post. Gets right underneath that one. Hits it into the top tier at the Lusail Stadium.
Yeah, not great from him. He's got a slightly sort of puzzled, quizzical look on his face there. How on earth that one flew off his boot and went so high. Just going back to the ranking situation, I mean, yeah, it's possible that the rankings could be fairer. I think what is a little bit unfair now is that teams like Morocco and the African nations, they can't get friendlies against European nations because of the Nations League. It's become like a closed shop. So you're going to get just European teams constantly playing each other. I mean, even good South American teams like Uruguay and Colombia, Ecuador, they can't get friendlies against European nations because they're just playing each other constantly in the Nations League. Yeah,
absolutely, and that only increases the points, doesn't it,
yeah,
in the system for the European sides as the ball goes through towards João Felix here to the right-hand side for Ramos for his hat-trick. Looks to chip the goalkeeper, wow, and he does! On his first Portugal start, Gonçalo Ramos has got a hat-trick.
Yeah, Jorge Mendes is trying to work out who his agent is and how he can take over at the moment, because Gonçalo Ramos has turned himself into a hot property in this game alone. A hat-trick, brilliant goals. First one, left foot, smashed into the top corner. Second one, near post, attacking the ball, great movement, finish, toe poke through the keeper's legs. And this one is impudent. You know, it's great service. He's through, he's timed his run, and he just dinks it over the advancing Sommer to make it 5-1.
It's an assured finish, isn't it? It just oozes class as he just dinks it over the outstretched legs there of Jan Sommer, and Gonçalo Ramos looking up to the crowd there. It says 3 goals in 3 matches on our screen because he's come on as a substitute in the previous 2 games he's come on in the World Cup, but this one starting from the front. It's a good battle of a header initially from Bruno Fernandes, but it's so open in the middle. I think it's a little fortunate for Bruno Fernandes, from Bernardo Silva, sorry, as it falls to Felix, but there's no mistake about the pass and the finish. It's just great work. Yeah,
good understand between Felix and Ramos there. He's held his run as well. You know, some strikers excited maybe, you know, you've got 2 goals, you're looking for your hat-trick, you see the chance there, they go too early, he held his run, stayed on side.
Now's the chance to whip him off.
I think so, yeah, he's done everything now, hasn't he?
Yeah,
there's literally nothing left for him to do.
No, he's got an assist, he's got 3 goals, he's already...
no header, he's not got a header.
Well, he hasn't got a header, that would make it a perfect 4, wouldn't it? But yeah, absolutely. 68 minutes gone in the game, nothing really much for him to do. He's been so impressive, and as you said, there's no way he's not starting that game against Morocco, as here comes Granit Xhaka chasing forward, looks to whip it out to the right-hand side, only finds the feet of Rafael Guerreiro, and we have passed over the 3-quarter mark of this game, Si, so over to you to bring us the final proceedings.
Yeah, the remaining 6 goals for the 12-goal thriller we need now in this next half an hour. Well, it might be half an hour, including stoppage time, I suppose.
Could be all to Switzerland to make it 7-5.
Seen a foul on Otavio there, so free kick to Portugal near the halfway line. Up to João Felix, great turn. Movement again from Ramos, that's where he's looking. Ramos tries to turn, but foot in there from Comer. Apparently, well, the referee thought about giving the free kick, but then said play on. Portugal still in possession. They'll just slow it down a little bit in midfield now. Back to Carvalho, Bernardo. Now Otavio again, he's got time to turn, runs at these Swiss defenders, they're backing off. Bruno Fernandes stationed out to the right. Back into João Felix. And it's just controlled possession football, nice movement, one-touch passing. Guerreiro's made a move off the left, and Bernardo searches him out with a lovely reiki ball. Cross goes to the near post. Bruno Fernandes almost converted on the volley. He slaps the post in frustration there. That would have been a goal A, I think, in the goal of the tournament, at the end of the tournament.
It would have been a brilliant goal, wouldn't it? Guerreiro, first time in step, just searching for that far post. Fernandes just aching to try and get there. He's got himself an assist in this game, wants himself a goal. Yeah, it's just brilliant from football from Portugal. They're playing with so much joy.
Yeah, and Morocco Morocco are watching this, and they'll be happy in Morocco what they've done today, but if they are watching this, they might be coming back down to earth thinking we've got to play these next.
They've played 120 minutes of football. They look dead on the feet as well with all that defending they did. It's going to be such a turnaround in 4 days for them to be able to turn up against this Portugal side.
Rodriguez now gets down the left, puts a low ball in near post. Pepe meets it with a firm clearance, straight out play for a Switzerland throw.
Incidentally, there was a substitution I failed to mention as well, as Okafor came on for Vargas around about 5 minutes ago down the left.
Okay. So another throw in to Switzerland. Rodriguez wants the ball quickly, lobs it in to Embolo. Embolo knocks it out to Zakari, lining up a shot, hits it into the body of Pepe, who charged him down. Pepe's gone down holding his side. The ball deflects away for a corner.
Yeah, it took too long, didn't he? The first touch wasn't good enough, had to set it out to his right-hand side once again, did Zakaria, then to strike at goal. Looked like it was going quite central, but yeah, I mean, Switzerland are still coming forward. They've not lost all impetus in attacking, just for a little bit of pride, but yeah, it's not quite the football we've seen from Portugal today.
So, corner to the Swiss, deep onto the back post. He's overcooked that ball. Rodriguez, the nearest to it, it's gone way over him. In fact, it was Okafor nearest to it. It's gone behind for a goal kick. That kind of sums up the night, really. Just disappointing from Switzerland in terms of execution. The only goal they got came from a misplaced defensive header, really.
Yeah, and we looked at that opening, 15 minutes before Ramos scored as well, and Embolo was having some joy against Ruben Diaz. It wasn't completely hopeless for them. Yes, they hadn't really created anything, but it was bullying the centre-half, and they've just become overrun in midfield as Portugal have grasped the hold of the game and the possession, but there was an outlet that they perhaps didn't exploit enough.
No, he's not really had much chance to run. It's a nice little flick there from João Felix, almost releases Bernardo. It's cleared away by Switzerland up to Shaqiri, but just held off there by Guerrero. So Ruben Diaz just chaperones the ball over to the left-hand side and goes back to William Carvalho. He's had a quietly effective game, hasn't he, William Carvalho? Just blocking off everything in midfield, covering the runs, hardly wasting a pass.
All great teams have a great sitting midfielder, don't they? Yeah. They have that man to break things up and just almost ghost into not being there with how brilliant they are, and he has been brilliant tonight. He's a man that was touted for some big moves in the past, wasn't he? And he's not really found his way in that sense in going to a massive club, but yeah, he's been brilliant today.
Talking of that, the funny thing is, you look back to their Euro 2016 win, and the player that kind of shone the most in that tournament, Renato Sanchez, not even there anymore.
No,
not even in the squad.
Yeah, there's so much talent to go through, isn't there, in the Portugal side? I mean, Vitinha's been brilliant this season for Fulham. He's on the bench. Yeah. Ruben Neves, of course, for Wolves, and here he comes.
Yeah, so Cristiano Ronaldo is coming on with 18 minutes to go, a part of a triple change made by Fernando Santos. So Gonzalo Ramos, hat-trick hero, comes off. Otavio and João Felix also head to the dugout, and Ronaldo is the first replacement to enter. I think Vitinha is going to also come on as well. And
Pepe going straight over to Ronaldo to give him the armband as well.
And the last replacement here, which we still haven't seen on the screen, is going to be... Still can't see. It is Ricardo Horta, who scored the goal against South Korea last week. So that's the change, and 17 minutes to impress, or maybe embellish the scoreline, which is Portugal 5, Switzerland 1. No real prospect of this one going to extra time and penalties now.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, these substitutes will just want World Cup goals on their records, won't they? So why not come onto the field and try and impress? And look at that joy on the face of Ramos on the sidelines. Boy, what a night he's had.
Yeah, Ricardo Horta goes on. Fernando Santos is trying to get his instructions across there to Bernardo about where he wants him to play now. Maybe a slight tweak of the tactics. Bruno Fernandes has gone forward. Ronaldo, I think he's gone 4-2-3-1 here maybe now. And I think there's a change for Switzerland now as well. Is that possible? But we can see it, unless the change is yet to be made, as there's a bit of passing between Rodriguez and Xhaka, and the Arsenal player knocks it back to his goalkeeper Sommer. He plays it out. left-hand side, right-hand side, Edmilson Fernandez looks for the 1-2, tries to take it on, but he's just gone out of play, or the ball back to him from Shaqiri, who's just out of play. That'll be a throw-in. In fact, maybe... Yeah, the referee possibly gave a free kick there. The foul on Shaqiri, and now there's another free kick coming Switzerland's way for a foul on Embolo on the halfway line, as Carvalho leaves his mark there. And that's given away from a too hastily taken free kick, and now Portugal will try and spring again. Ronaldo gets his first touch, then there's a foul on Bernardo, free kick edge of the box. Well, not quite the edge of the box, but I know who's going to want to take this free kick.
Oh, absolutely. Ronaldo's just going to try and whip this one top right-hand corner. You would expect, try and get over the wall, but Bernardo Silva, every single time I watch him, he just oozes class and impresses me. He really does. He doesn't look quick, but he just drives with the ball. He invites people to make a tackle, then will flick it away from them at the last minute, and once again he's done it, and those tired Switzerland legs can't get close to him.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest compliment I could pay him is that he looks kind of like Andres Iniesta. That's that sort of style again. He's a lot of running, but he doesn't waste the ball. He passes well, he moves well. Anyway, here's Ronaldo's moment. He's got a free kick, 25 plus yards out. The substitute is lining up a strike on goal.
Mirror of Portsmouth at Old Trafford.
I think he was a bit closer in the Portsmouth
yeah.
one, but David James never saw it. Here he comes, hits it low into the wall, and it's smacked away from the wall there by one of the incumbents. Portugal retain possession though. Rafael Guerreiro pokes it wide. Now Vitinha thinks about the forward pass, and now works it wide to the left-hand side, gets it back again. They're just on the carousel now, the passing carousel, all the way back to Ruben Dias. Now slips off to Pepe. He turns, gets caught in possession though. He was tackled back by Xhaka, now Okafor, but Pepe wins it back and does really well. And this time he makes a much more careful pass to Bruno Fernandes. Guerreiro back to the Manchester United man. He's got 3 white shirts around him. Turns away from Okafor. In fact, Okafor's shadowed him all over the pitch here, and Bruno Fernandes does get away from him in the end. Back pass to the keeper's a little bit short, but Costa gets there before Embolo and just smacks it into the crowd.
Yeah, I was just having a chuckle at Pepe. He showed it in a flash of 5 seconds why he shouldn't be a midfielder, and then why he wouldn't do too bad as a defensive midfielder. Gave it away and then won it back.
Switzerland have possession from that throw, working across to the left-hand side, and Okafor backing into Dalot. Dalot giving him no room to turn there. He goes into midfield. Xhaka plays it back to the RB Salzburg player. Okafor plays it across the halfway line. And now goes into the feet of Xhaka. Xhaka trying to encourage Switzerland forward. Back to Okafor. It's all very slow and deliberate, this build-up. They're not really hurting Portugal with either the tempo or the direction of the passes. They've been forced backwards here by some good pressing, and all the way back to the keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. Akanji stumbling on halfways. He looked to go right or left, but this Portugal side are so well drilled, aren't they? And I've really been impressed by Dalot on this near side. He's just forced Rodriguez back and back and back and not allowed him to get forward.
Embolo's won it back though, and he then gives it to Shaqiri on the right-hand side. He just about keeps up to that, but he was forced wide by the weight of the pass. A lot of support arriving though from Edmilson, back to Shaqiri. Nice play forward towards Zakaria. Can he keep this one in? Hooked away eventually by Carvalho, out for a throw.
He didn't look interested to chase that one, did he, Zakaria? I feel as though he probably could have got there first. I think he thought that Carvalho was just going to leave it for a corner kick, but instead he comes out and just boots it away for a throw. But yeah, he's not quite been on the front foot there.
Chance for Edmilson's cross. It bangs it into the body of Guerreiro. It deflects out to the edge of the box and it's cleared by Bernardo. Ronaldo fighting for possession with Akanji, but loses out the first and the second header. It's nodded down the line offside against Edmilson. Yeah,
just sloppy work from him, wasn't it? Stayed up on that right-hand side and never chased back into position. He's not had his finest game in a Switzerland shirt, has he? And of course, the Switzerland fans are resigned to defeat, but the manner of the defeat has been particularly disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be some recriminations, I would think. Right, Yakin, he's done a decent job. Obviously, I think they were relegated from the Nations League A as well this summer. So, but to get to the finals was a great achievement. And the Euros qualifications started, so they'll be looking to make that finals as well. Who knows if the next generation can fill the the boots of the likes of Shaqiri, and I think Xhaka's going to retire, is he? But Rodriguez might be near in the end. Chance here on the edge of the box, overhead kick from Embolo goes wide. He made up that chance all himself, really, with the touch and then the acrobatic overhead attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. His touch was poor. I think he was trying to play a pass, but it was just so poor that he goes for the Richarlison, shall we say, as he goes for goal, but just hooks it wide of the mark.
Should have got a corner.
Yeah, it nicks off the head of Dalot, doesn't it?
He wouldn't have seen it, Embolo, because he was upside down when he struck that one, but it did flick off the head of Diogo Dalot, and the referee has spotted it and given a corner. So the corner's racking up now for Switzerland, but they haven't done a great deal with them. Safarovic is in the box as he goes in near post, and he gets the header in. It's Xhaka, in fact, who got the header in, but it's over.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity, to be fair. If the game's 0-0 and it's closing stages of the game, you'd say that's a half chance with a couple of men at the far post as well to knock it in. Just gets too much on it, doesn't he? Xhaka in front, behind Diogo Dalot, in fact, and yeah, possibly should have been hitting the target there as Bernardo Silva is going to come off the field. Yeah,
referee's jogging off with him just to make sure there's no time wasting going on there, but really, I don't think it was ever going to be a factor. Ruben Neves, the Wolverhampton Wanderers midfielder, comes on here for the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. It'll be disappointing to have missed out tonight. Ruben Neves has been featuring in the group stages, and then when it comes to this big night where the team have really exploded, he's been sort of sat on the sidelines.
Yeah, and I think that's been calculated in, perhaps with Ramos starting up front. Every single player behind him, bar Carvalho, has been so fluid in position. Neves is more of a set midfielder, isn't he? And I think that works to his detriment in this Portugal side. It may come back in the sense that they may need a more rigid structure in later games against bigger teams.
Yeah, definitely options for Fernando Santos to change it all round again, and who knows what he'll do for that next game against Morocco. The referee gives a free kick on the halfway line to Switzerland for a foul by Guerrero on Shaqiri. Played backwards, and then finding Xhaka in some space. Slipped out to the left-hand side for Okafor. Rodriguez does sort of half threaten to go on the overlap. Okafor's only going to use him as a decoy, though. Plays it back into the middle for Xhaka. Now he finds Rodriguez, who's got room to cross, puts it in towards the near post, and Pepe meets it firmly with a good header out for a throw.
I think he catches the Portugal man as well with his follow-through on the cross there. Bruno Fernandes just getting a little nick on the ankle. It's good work in the end from Rodriguez to find that position, but I think initially he's got to be more aggressive in running past Okafor on the overlap. Just seeing that replay, not surprised it was a sore one for Fernandes. He landed on top of him as soon as his foot hit the ground.
Yeah, he's back on his feet. So, yeah, his World Cup odyssey will continue. And Manchester United are going to be playing a friendly this week as they begin their preparations for the resumption of the club football season. But doubt that, well, particularly with Portugal facing Morocco in the next round, you can imagine that maybe Dalot and Bruno Fernandes might be missing for the first couple of games after restart. Yeah,
perhaps, and of course with certain teams going further distances, you look to cup ties as well. Manchester City against Liverpool in the League Cup as well. That's the day after the World Cup final. So should it be, for example, an England-Portugal final, you'd be missing the likes of Bernardo Silva and Ruben Diaz, amongst other England players such as Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Trent would fly back and play, I think.
Well, yeah, probably. Southgate's not going to play him at this stage, is he? And I tell you what, Trippier and Walker have done well, haven't
they?
That's
the ball over the top. Ronaldo might be offside here. He's running through on goal. Did Como play him on? Ronaldo's chance, and he buries it. But he looks up and he sees the flag is up. He looked offside, and it will not count.
Yeah, he had a chance a couple of moments ago to chase onto the end of a ball. Couldn't quite get there, showing those perhaps ageing legs. This time, yeah, well offside, as he just strayed. It was a question of whether he was in his own half. He wasn't. He was about 3 yards past the defender there. Good ball from Carvalho nonetheless, and a good finish from Ronaldo. Does the job, doesn't he? Hits it hard into the ground underneath the goalkeeper, but yeah, just straight off.
Yeah, I mean, even he did need to do that. You know, obviously he's not quite got the pace of years gone by, and you do have to try, you know, play on the last man and on the shoulder and stuff like that, but he didn't need to go like that. There was so much space to run into.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not just the fact that he went early, he went so early, in fact, didn't he? He was never, ever onside at any point. It was a nice finish. Yeah, he got
Sommer got nothing on it.
No, I tell you what, I mean, for some of the goals, he's had no chance, has he, Jan Sommer, but he hasn't looked as sure. I mean, the Ramos chip over his leg, perhaps should have looked bigger and stronger in that position,
Yeah.
perhaps, and
Yeah.
maybe the Pepe corner should have maybe caused more of an issue in trying to come out and get it. As you said, though, Si, it's not his style. He's a smaller goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah, he needed better protection. I think that was definitely a fault in the marking or the blocking off really of the Swiss players. But they can't block off, can they, with the arms anymore? They can't hold, they can't grab shirts on set pieces, and I think that was one where maybe in the past, Pepe wouldn't have got a run on the defenders because he would have been grabbed, he would have been jostled, and now they can't do that. There's a chance for Switzerland down the left-hand side. Okafor into the penalty area, wants the shot, and he's blocked off straight away by two defenders. Bruno Fernandes runs it clear, then gets held back. The referee had the whistle on his lips and has given Portugal a free kick.
Yeah, and just looking to those set pieces as well. England still in the competition, love a set piece, of course. You've got Netherlands with Virgil van Dijk going up from the back. It may become an even more ever-present as this tournament continues, because games tend to tighten up, don't they, as the tournament continues. So set pieces might be the way forward. As
Definitely.
I mean, we've not seen too many penalties, have we, from those situations, because the players have more or less stuck to the rules.
Yeah, since the first couple were given. I mean, it just shows you that in the past it could have been over the whole tournament, but now everybody watches everybody else's games. They all have the same briefings before the tournament. Gareth Southgate actually complained, didn't he, that an England click was used in the briefing that all the teams and all the referees saw. It was like England holding or blocking off at a corner that was used as an example, and he got a bit upset when England didn't get a penalty, but then got one given against them in the Iran game. But I think teams just have to. There's a chance here for Ronaldo on the volley. It's deflected off him from a clearance and goes behind for a goal kick. Good
defending from Comet, you have to say. He's on the back foot, isn't he? Ronaldo's bursting in behind him, just has to throw up that leg in a last gasp attempt to try and volley it, and does well to just kick the ball before Ronaldo gets anywhere near it, because he's looking to just control and smash that into the back of the net. Yeah, it was landed on his right foot. He would have probably connected pretty well. Referee is now ushering Bruno Fernandes off the pitch as another change being made here by Fernando Santos. He's had a decent game, Bruno Fernandes. Well, I think he's a very important player to this Portugal team. He is. He's coming off for Rafa Leao, who's coming on, but it's one of those where they've not quite been able to fit him in a system, have they, Bruno Fernandes, in the past, in the sense that he wants to play right behind that striker like he does for Manchester United. It's just not worked over recent years, and that's why this team hasn't perhaps performed as well as they could have done in the Euros, for example. But yeah, he's played really well tonight, got himself an assist, and it's a stat popped up. Pressure's applied. He's been chasing on the front foot the whole game. Rafael Leao whips a crossing just a bit too high for Ronaldo. It goes out the other side and out for a throw-in to Switzerland. Ronaldo got a smile on his face. And what can you do? He must know that he's got, almost no chance of starting in the quarter-final now after Gonzalo Ramos's hat-trick. But I'm sure there'll be some sort of role for him in that game. Yeah, we don't know what's happened behind the scenes as well, do we? Not just between the manager, but between his teammates. And I'm sure they've all got behind him and said, right, whatever's happened, we don't care. Let's just build as a team for this tournament. And it seems like they're all on the same page to me. Yeah. Some very interesting shots, weren't there, from inside the Portugal dressing room before the tournament, when Ronaldo was kind of being shunned a little bit by Bruno Fernandes. I guess that was probably just for the cameras and just for the fact that Manchester United issue. Ball over the top here from Switzerland, headed away by the Portugal defence. That was that about Ruben Neves back there, wasn't it? Playing almost like a centre back now. Yeah, he's almost dropped in between the two centre-halves, and William Carvalho has pushed further upfield, perhaps Neves wanting to be the quarterback. The change here for Switzerland. Breel Embolo goes off, and he just heads straight down. Well, not down a tunnel, but heads straight off the nearest point. And on in his place is Jashari. Yeah, I mean, he's cut a frustrated figure, hasn't he, Breel Embolo, in this game, and Jashari coming on for just his second Switzerland appearance, and his first appearance of this World Cup, so perhaps the manager just giving him some minutes in a World Cup might be his only opportunity. Ball thrown into Shaqiri, turns neatly by the corner flag, gets half a yard, slips into the penalty area. Safarovic recycles it out to the right. Edmilson back to Shaqiri, curl ball out to the edge of the box, set back by Rodriguez for Jashiri, playing in central midfield after coming on alongside Xhaka. He spreads it back to Akanji. Good press here from Portugal, still keeping the energy levels pretty high with these fresh legs they've got on the pitch. And that's ball given away
by Zakari, but he gets it back, the lucky Chelsea man, up to Okafor. And now Jashari teases it wide. Rodriguez feints to cross, knocks it back to the substitute. Square ball to Xhaka, into the feet of Okafor. He's trying to work here against Dalot once more. Dalot gets a good foot in though, and Portugal can spring once more. And now Dalot continues his run. Has he got the pace to get behind Jashiri? No, the substitute just quickens his stride and tidies up.
Yeah, good defending in the end from the substitute, wasn't it? But Diogo Dalot once again, just fabulous in defence and with the energy in the 90th minute to chase forward.
Yeah, he's been such a revelation this season for Manchester United, and the form's clearly carried on to international level. And a chance here for Portugal, a chance here for Switzerland in the Portugal box, and an effort that was deflected off Pepe, and Pepe's just got back in time to prevent potentially a goal there. He's conceded a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. High fives, weren't there, between the defenders? He's offside, isn't he?
Offside.
Okafor, but he's been a presence since he came on. At least he's probably done more dangerous looking stuff than Vargas did, who he came on for.
Yeah, I think the flag did go up in the end. I'm assuming it did. Yeah, we're starting with a free kick, and we're into 4 minutes of stoppage time, so this one's almost in the books. I mean, Matt, I don't think we ever expected it to be this one-sided. Portugal could even have been the subject of a shock, maybe before the game got underway. But it's been a historic night, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant performance from Portugal, and boy, will this give them some confidence that they'll go into that Morocco game with that confidence. But they cannot be complacent, can they, in that game? Hakim Ziyech and his side could really cause them an upset in that quarter-final. They need to be assured and just do the job, because yes, Morocco are the rank outsiders in that clash, but they just have to do the job.
Historic night for a number of reasons, because I think probably this is the first significant, as in the result is massive, important for Portugal, that Ronaldo hasn't started for them. And that's a shot that's flown in from Rafael Leao from the corner of the penalty area, and in stoppage time they get their sixth, and they're all the strikers are scoring for Portugal apart from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful finish, isn't it, from Rafa Leao. Just cuts inside and curls it into that far corner. Not sure who picked up the assist on this occasion, but yeah, goals. 3 goals for Ramos, 1 for Leao, 1 for Guerrero, 1 for Pepe. Assists for Felix, Fernandez and Ramos himself, and yeah, somehow Ronaldo's the odd one out.
Yeah, I think we are seeing the passing of the baton here, aren't we, from Ronaldo. Such a fixture in this team for more than a decade. It must be 15 years since he's not started a major game for Portugal at a finals. But he hasn't tonight, and the youngsters have come through and delivered. That is taking a bit of deflection from Rafael Leao, has it?
It may have.
The keeper looks completely wrong-footed.
Yeah, I think Akanji's trying to sprint back into a defensive position. Let's see from the reverse angle. No deflection in the end.
Just poor from Sommer.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's wrong-footed, but I don't quite know how, because there was only one place he could put the ball, and he did.
Yeah, so it wasn't down wasn't in the corner. It was pretty much down the centre, but Sommer was stranded really in the centre of goal and get near it. So it's 6-1. And a spanking as Switzerland send it forward. I guess just they've lost all heart, haven't they? This is the end of their dream. It's the end of their journey, and probably just players just can't really raise their levels at the moment.
No, absolutely. It's been a frustrating night for the Swiss, and Portugal have just completely outclassed them, haven't they, in this game? And we have our quarter-final lineup now, don't we? With Netherlands, Argentina, Croatia, Brazil, England, France and Morocco.
Could be one last chance for Ronaldo to get a goal. He plays it wide to Vitinha, tries to knock it back into the box. Poor ball back from the PSG man. Must have taken deflection, because he's given the Portugal corner. Yeah,
inside the final minute of added time. Of course, there'll be a bit extra for that goal, but yeah, last chance for Ronaldo from the corner kick.
So, do you fancy Portugal to knock over Morocco in the quarters then?
Well, you would expect so, wouldn't you? They are the form team, and I think that 120 minutes is probably really taking it out of Morocco. It's the furthest they've ever got, so if they got another stage further, it would be incredible.
Coutinho's corner in towards the central goal, headed down. There was 2 players in each other's way there. I think Ruben Dias and maybe Carvalho got in each other's way. Chance here for Switzerland to break from the corner, and the referee has given a free kick for a foul on Safarovic. Yeah,
just breaking out from the back there, he and Shaqiri, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought the Portugal man was going to kick his own player in the head there. There was an overhead kick attempt they'd seen Embolo earlier on.
And the referee brings an end to this World Cup round of 16 match. It's finished Portugal 6, Switzerland 1, a hat-trick from Gonzalo Ramos, and an incredible night for Portugal, who march on to the quarterfinals. From myself and from Matt, it's good night.